Welcome to episode 2 of Teymur's Time Stereo Podcast. Episode 2? 3? Well, the number says 3, but it really is just number 2. And if we're really honest, the first one, number 2, was more of a little skirmish, I guess. Also, not too sure if this gets any better, but as I said, it's a work in progress, and I'm glad you're here to share this little journey with me. And hope you all had a great couple days since the last one. Here, the weather has cleared up a little bit today, and it is actually quite nice, even though this is not the sun. This is a little light, if you're watching the video. Which definitely is not necessary to listen to this podcast. By the way, its main focus is and will always be audio. And either way, if you're watching, if you're listening, welcome. And let's get into it a little bit. It was a bit of a mishmash last time, and today I want to focus a little bit more on what I'm doing here these days. I started yesterday after I finally got a replacement for my film scanner or flatbed scanner or whatever to scan my film negatives. Started scanning. It's such a tedious process. I really hate that. But then again, I need to get stuff scanned and sent out. Not really for clients, but even for the models I shot with, would be nice to have that stuff out. And for myself, obviously. And I also need to get back into developing more film. Half of the stuff that lies around here that I'm scanning right now, I had scanned. The other half I processed myself. And I might have gone a bit, let's say, now off the rails is not the right expression, but it hasn't gone as great as I had hoped to, and I definitely need more, time doing that stuff and getting back into the groove and being a bit more secure developing film. And as for black and white, I think that's much easier, and with regular negative color film, it's not that far off anyway. But I also have I think it's 3 rolls of color positive film here, which nobody around me here wants to develop or does develop, and I didn't want to send them out just yet. And I have all the chemicals here, but everyone tells me it's very complicated and it takes a lot of time, and that, out of a weird reason, just kept me from doing it and trying it. But fuck it, I'll just go ahead and try it next week. I think I want to see how they came out. Also, last time when I recorded, and I think a lot of times when I do video stuff also, which I said before, this is not the main focus of, but I decided to not do one takes, because I don't know, I tend to re-record and then try to do the whole episode in one take, and that just takes so much time, and it's really not, doesn't make any sense really. So if you're watching instead of listening, you might see some weird cuts. But it makes life so much easier if I just smooth everything out and make it a bit nicer. Also, I'm waiting on a very important package that might arrive any minute now, even though they keep saying that for the past week or something like that. Yeah, anyway. Also, I talked about how I started doing picture frames, and how I have like a couple ideas how to develop my methods for that, because I know kind of where I'm going with that. And I talked about that Japanese method last time also, just briefly mentioned that. Shisugi ban, which is basically really just burning the wood with a torch or however you want to do it. I mean, the super old school way, build kind of a triangle shaped thing. Anyway, the point is to burn the wood or the top layers of the wood, basically, to make it more resistant against everything that could happen to wood if you use it outside, especially, and so on. But I just like the style of it, and that's going to be a lot of fun experimenting with that. Especially because, I mean, I started this whole thing with the frame building and getting more into making to elevate my art, I guess. And also, I keep saying that for a while now, but when you sell your art, I think it's nice to be able to offer people the whole 9 yards if they want to. I mean, you will be able to buy my prints in like different sizes and maybe on different papers. Maybe not in the beginning, but I'm working on different things. Sorry, daytime busy street outside. I hope that's not too distracting. Anyway, and some people like frame their work. Some people just archive it or keep it somewhere when they buy artwork, and or change stuff out in frames they already have or in places they already have, and so on and so on. But I think it's nice, as someone who also buys art from like different artists and smaller artists, to be able to buy a frame from that artist that artist thinks fits the whole mood, either of the picture or painting or whatever you're buying, graphic, or just fits whatever the artist represents, I guess, or saw or sees. And yeah, that really is it's a nice process, at least in my head so far. And I haven't finished any of the frames that I started building yet, because the Shisugi ban and the other stuff I want to try, I'm still waiting on a couple things to arrive, so I can, not really work in batches, but get a couple finished and then try a few different things and see which one reacts, or what type of wood reacts differently, etc. That's also very annoying, by the way, not being able to get any kind of wood you want. That really seems to be quite difficult around here. Or I haven't found the correct lumber yards or wood dealers, or whatever you want to call them. But most people are very very concentrated, or the businesses are very concentrated on construction lumber mostly around here, which is kind of, I mean, I get it, but stuff like walnuts and so on isn't like too exotic, not even around here. But yeah, but it's good. We're getting there. That's definitely a lot of fun. And yeah, also I started experimenting with different paints and colors and oil and acrylic, which I haven't ever really used much, because, I mean, first of all, I'm not really a painter. But it's nice to get into that, and the haptic, sensations of working with brushes, or just even on your finger, and trying stuff out and try to elevate the work you have, or whatever it is, right? If you're like into sculptures or paintings or photography or whatever, there's a lot you can experience and learn through that, even though if nothing of whatever you're putting out or selling or just doing for your self ends up having parts of that in it. But if the experience gave you something in which you, I don't know, just get to another place creatively, that really is I think it's a beautiful thing. And we way too often fall into this trap of repeating what we know, especially if it's successful, because it gives you certain, how do you say, safety net, even, like, you know, it's like, oh, this is good, this works, this makes me money, or this gives me positive feedback, and so on and so on, and which is nice and which is good and which can be one part of the whole thing. But I think that's where a lot of people lose themselves and their creativity and their creative vision at some point. If you don't push yourself, even if it doesn't lead to anything specific, but being on a journey is always a good thing, and always it just can benefit you, right? So yeah, that definitely is one of my goals, why I'm doing all these different things. And man, I'm so excited. I might be learning to weld soon. I'm really sorry. My English is not the best right now. I keep mixing up stuff. Anyway, you know what I mean, I hope. My girlfriend's brother started welding in his workshop, and he offered me to teach me a little bit, which will be very, very, very exciting, and which also could end up being something, you know, you take away creatively, even if you don't start like doing like metal sculptures or something as an artist. But yeah, that's something I have wanting to try and do for a very long time, so that's going to be very cool. And I try to get a little bit of video footage of that too at some point, if I'm good at it at any kind of level. Good in quotation marks. Yeah, anyway, that's mostly what I've been up to these days right now. Video editing stuff, nothing new. I haven't filmed much lately, which is a bit of a shame too. But we'll hopefully get back to that, and with like some really nice and exciting projects, and also a bit more. I'll fill you in on that when we're a bit further with the planning. I don't want to tease you too much. Yeah. Besides that, excuse me, who's watching The Mandalorian? Hands up. Here. Bueller. Man, Mandalorian is one of those series or things that excites me so much, even though it's not like I don't know, it's probably not the best series in the world or ever made, or best Star Wars thing ever in existence, but it's so much fun. It's so well shot, and I don't know. I mean, people nowadays critique everything anyway, but I just enjoy the heck out of it. I think I've watched every episode at least twice by now, and I'm so looking forward to tomorrow's episode. Having said that, Watchmen is another series that basically just started, and it's already, has been like 6-7 weeks now, and they're coming to an end this week for the first season. That, I knew it was coming, but that definitely came out of nowhere in the way and intensity it just appeared. Mandalorian is like, for me at least, it's like 100% just fun. Just sitting there smiling, being like wanting my own little baby Yoda basically, and all that stuff. And that's cool. But Watchmen, man, that's some heavy shit. And especially if you're into Watchmen, being the graphic novel, Alan Moore's graphic novel, or Zack Snyder's interpretation in movie form, which I actually am a fan of. It's a bit of a controversial opinion to have, I think, depending on who you ask. But I actually really enjoyed the film, even though it changed a couple things. But man, I'm going on a tangent here. But I think Zack Snyder is very good if you give him a very clear path to walk on, and very, very clear, how to say, if there's a good basis on what he can work off, I think he's like one of the best in like translating that into film. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Watchmen the series is so good, then, and it's so good that I would go so far to say it might be the best TV series in at least the past 5 years. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Game of Thrones anyway, so fuck them. But even like Westworld and so on, which I really, really love, I think Watchmen is a very good contender of taking my number one spot in my top whatever list when it comes to TV series. And damn, bro, that really is, it's really great, and I'm so excited to see how they end with the last episode, and then how they take that even further, and where they take it. But yeah, that's crazy stuff going on there. And I think it's going to be one of those things that on the one hand is fun for everyone who likes the graphic novel, but also will have a even more or even bigger impact culturally at some point. I mean, I'm sure, it fits right into our times nowadays, but I think it will be, I don't know, it's hard to say, but I think at least there's a good potential for it to grow into something even bigger that no one anticipated so far. But yeah, we'll see about that. And another fun new series that came out a couple of weeks ago, His Dark Materials. That is a lot of fun too. Very, very well done. I love the books, at least the 3 main books. I think there are more, right? Those were amazing. I loved the film, to be honest, with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. That was a good film. That was a solid film. I might actually have to rewatch that. I also have to reread those books, but the series is really well done. Damn, I can't remember the girl's name, but she's the girl from Logan, X-23, right? Sorry, I'm not so firm on my X-Men knowledge, but I think it's X-23, right? Anyways, man, that is really good. She plays so well, and the whole production is just wonderful. So that's definitely a big must-watch also. Anything else? Am I watching anything else? Not really. Besides tons and tons of podcasts I listen and watch, but also I've started and finished playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That was actually fun. That was not bad at all. Especially for a game coming from EA. I was a bit scared that I wasted like whatever, €60 or whatever that was on another EA game, but that was a lot of fun. The story could have been a bit more, a bit more powerful, I think, but they did a lot of great things, and overall it was a good experience, and I would actually recommend any Star Wars fan to 100% get that game. If you're not a big Star Wars fan, you might not want to. Yeah, there are better options out there for sure. Which brings me to, I still have to get into Death Stranding. I have Death Stranding and I started playing it, and I keep pushing playing it further and further ahead because I want to have a couple days where I can just sink my teeth into it and really get into it instead of having an hour here, an hour there. But yeah, that doesn't seem to be happening right now too much. Anyways, anything else? Yeah, kind of got back into Destiny 2 a little bit, which I might try and check out the new season today, which should be a lot of fun. That's always, the good thing about Destiny is you can spend like a whole day playing it, or just like a half an hour. No, maybe not half an hour, but yeah, half an hour to an hour also works sometimes. Just a quick little Gambit match or a Crucible match or something like that. Besides that, I think I wanted to give you a couple music recommendations, but I'm gonna push that for next time. Oh yeah, also Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Watched that last week. Huh? Let's put it that way. I enjoyed the film, but I do not understand all that hype about it. It's certainly not the best Tarantino film by a long shot. I'd be very hard pressed to even decide which Tarantino film I liked less than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not to say it was a bad film, but it certainly wasn't amazing or great. Yeah, no, I really have no clue. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I mean, I'm glad if people enjoy his films and whatever film it is, but yeah, I was hoping for a bit more oomph. And that Bruce Lee stuff, that was just weird. I don't know what he was trying to work out there, but, and I'm sure he has his reasons. I just found it very silly, portraying Bruce Lee like that. But yeah. Anyways, I was a bit surprised that so many people are. I don't want to say glorifying it, because that sounds like I really hated the film, but it's, yeah. A lot of people like the movie a lot more than I would have ever expected after seeing it. That makes any sense. Yeah, well, it is as it is. I'm glad he's still making films, and as it seems, he might be doing even more than he was leading us to believe he was going to. You know what I mean? He wanted to stop after 10 films or something, right? And now, where did I hear that? I think I heard it on the Schmoes or something, or was it John Campio's show? Something like that. That there's talks about Kill Bill 3. What? Okay, I'm here. I'm all here for that. Kill Bill 3 should be a lot of fun. And if he's going to make movies until the day he dies, I'm all for that too. So that should be, yeah, going to be interesting. Haven't watched The Irishman, by the way, yet. Anyways, thank you for listening. Talk to you next week, and be safe out there. It's cold. It's getting cold. Don't slip. Don't fall. And I just bumped my camera. Sorry about that. Adios.